Now, there are 3 goals that every seller tries to achieve when they list their house on the market. These make up the seller's triangle. Now, Emily, you've talked to us about the buyer's triangle in the past. Tell me more about the seller's triangle.
Yeah, so there's the 3 things that sellers are trying to get, the goals that they're trying to achieve when they sell their house is they want to sell it for max value, they want to sell it as quickly as possible, and they want it to be a stress-free experience. So usually in a stable market, you can get 2 out of 3, but there's going to have to be a compromise somewhere.
Okay, so talk to me more about max value with a quick sale. That seems like something everyone would want.
Yeah, well, a lot of people want this option, but it's going to take a lot of work to get there. So to get maximum value, you are going to have to put in probably some elbow grease and some money to get your house ready for market value. And that might mean repairs, might mean some fresh paint, maybe new carpet, might even have to do some remodel.
What about like landscaping, like curb appeal?
Yeah, curb appeal is a big one. So if you're trying to get maximum value for your house and you want to sell it quickly, you have to stand out amongst the competition. And that means your house has to be in absolutely pristine condition. So you're going to have to put some work in on the front end.
Okay. So something we hear a lot is, I'm not in a hurry. So say I'm a seller and I don't need to move for like 6 months. Would the max value and stress-free option be more for me?
Everybody's goals are different, but a lot of people want to try and throw their house up on the MLS and just see what happens without necessarily doing what they need to do to get it ready for market because they just want to test the waters. But when you do that, you start racking up days on market, and then from a buyer's perspective, they start wondering what's wrong with the house.
And the higher days on market and then wondering that's a lot of times where we see those price reductions hit the market, correct?
Oh yeah. And oftentimes a house that's been listed for a while will have multiple price reductions before it actually goes under contract. And so when it sells, oftentimes it'll sell for less than we could have sold it for if they had just priced it right to begin with.
Okay, so sometimes the quick sale does help out with the price if it's priced aggressively off the front end.
It does, yeah.
Okay, so for the third option, let's say I need to sell it quickly. I want to have as little stress as possible, and I want to dump the smallest amount of cash I can possibly to get this on market. What would you advise?
So this is actually a situation that we see quite often. A lot of times sellers, they are ready, either they're ready to sell or they need to sell quickly. And a lot of people just don't have, an extra $30,000 laying around. And so they can't put a lot of money into fixing up the house to get it pristine, perfect market ready. So in this situation, what we usually advise the sellers is consider pricing it below market value, because that's the only way you're going to be able to compete against other homes that are on the market for fair market value that are in pristine turnkey condition.
Okay, and that's where, if we're in realtor speak, that's called pricing aggressively.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood.
So it's pricing aggressively for the competition.
Word. Okay, so to wrap this up with a nice little bow on top, what is the main goal of going over the seller's triangle during your initial consultation?
Yeah, so I think it's really important for sellers and their realtors to understand and identify what the primary goal is of the seller before we list the house on the market. We want to front load a strategy that's built on intentional action so that we're not just out here winging it on the market.
Agreed. And you go into a much deeper dive during the initial consultation, correct?
We do, yeah. We're going to talk strategy and really hone in on what the seller needs.
Okay, so if someone wanted to schedule one of these consults with you, where would be the best place to go for that?
Best place to go is our website at weselloklahoma.com. It's got all of my contact information on there, and yours too.
Yes, sir. And you can look for houses, so give it a go.